fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my God!
Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled!
Sec's very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive!
This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday night, which that means the VRS GT Sprint Series live on SimSpeed. I am here tonight, Simon Mazzomo leading tonight with JK Kennedy in the comms box, and we have special guest Cam Dance helping me out tonight. We are here round 8 at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for tonight's action-packed installment of the GT Sprint Series. So we've seen a very entertaining first few rounds of this series. Last week we were at Laguna Seca for what was a very intense battle in the mid-pack, but now we're coming to a track which is somewhat difficult to pass and surrounded by a lot of sand. So racing tonight is probably going to be as tightly contested as what we saw last week. You can see just outside of Monterey in California. So this track obviously sorry guys, very last minute this one. So yeah, this one we're doing another 45-minute race. Sorry guys, I'm really struggling tonight with this one. So yeah, located just outside Monterey in California, opened 1957. It's a 3.6 kilometer track. As I said at the start, it's a very, very tight circuit. You've got the famous corkscrew in this one, which is obviously well talking about. Tonight, we will get you your hot lap. And Cam, how would you like to take us through that?
Certainly would, and it's only an honour that I do it with a former teammate of mine, Joshua Rogers, around this stunning circuit, and it certainly is one that makes for some interesting racing in the fact that it's quite tight and narrow and very much is hard to pass. So it's going to be an interesting night to see what happens, but we are for the hot lap on board Joshua Rogers in the Audi R8, no other better car coming across the start finish line, up and over the rise for what is quote unquote turn 1, depending on who you ask, and then down towards the double left-hander for the Andretti hairpin, trying to maximize the apex speed, trying to get back on the throttle as early as you possibly can, using all the road as well on each side, trying to avoid all those inside sausage curbs, the big red curbs. You don't really want to hit those too much, otherwise you can end up damaging your car, and very, very easy to get off the road there as he gets very, very sideways, does it, Rogers, from just clipping the dirt, and that's how easy it is just to make a small mistake and have your race ended. But up towards the kink, one of the hardest corners on the track, and probably all of sim racing really, with the fact that it's so committed and very little runoff, and then you head up towards one of the toughest corners in sim racing and racing in general, the corkscrew, a 3-story drop, aiming for that tree right there, and then dipping down towards the apex for the bottom of the hill, and then heading downhill towards the final few corners, clipping the apex as well through another kink, and then a lot of camber for the second to last corner before using all the curb on the left hand side, and then coming up to the final corner to set your run up to the start finish line, using as much curb as you possibly can on the entry and exit. And that is very quick and a very, very short lap of Laguna Seca. It's not a very short long lap for these GT3 machinery, but it certainly is a very, very wild one.
Absolutely very wild, and qualifying is underway at the moment. Everyone else is on track, so just sort of waiting to see the lap times. Everyone is sort of just starting. We got on screen at the moment Marcin Gadzinski in the McLaren GT3, and his lap has not started well at all. He's straight into the barrier. Well, lucky he'll have enough time to get a reset and get back into it. Now we've got Cooper Webster on screen, obviously coming off the back of the Bathurst 12 hour with a very strong showing in the BMW GT3. It's a very big car to run around this track. We obviously refer to it sometimes as the big boy, but Wonder how will it go tonight, do you reckon, Cam? You reckon it'll have a strong showing in this one?
Going to be very, very interesting. And being front engine, and it seems to be very, very strong through some of these tighter circuits, it should have a strong showing. And obviously, Webster and the Altus Esports team are very much accustomed to what makes this car work based on their results at the Bathurst 12 Hour over the weekend, run by Oceanic Sim Racing. But we'll see what Webster can do as he comes out of the final corner. A little bit of wheel spin there from what I could see, with a few licorice sticks being laid onto the ground, but comes across the line in 1 minute 20, puts himself up to P1 for provisional time being, but certainly is going to be a hard man to beat, that's for sure.
Yeah, already the lap times, and just as we say that, Julian Rodriguez goes up to number 1 spot by nearly 4/10 in that one in the McLaren. So that was a fantastic lap there. You can see Bram Vanderban starting the lap as well. So the McLaren's already starting to have a very strong showing. Marston coming around will be restarting his lap this time. Obviously, the last one did not go too well. But we can see Audi in the field. Mitch McLeod last week, a little bit of controversy with old Mitch, but picking, actually interesting, he's picked the Audi this week. He's been accustomed to the Lamborghini, so he obviously feels the Audi's got the pace when we come here.
Certainly didn't have too ideal of a run last week, with a few incidents here and there, and unfortunately had to end up further down the field. But McLeod comes across the line to finish the lap, and that one's not going to count by the looks of it. Unfortunately, puts himself P15 for the time it being there, and is going to be on a hot lap. And now Julian Rodriguez Moreno coming through the second last corner, though, in that beautiful blue and red McLaren, but decides to call it quits after clearly what's not a very happy lap. Javier Sanchez, though, coming through the final corner in the Ferrari 488 GT3, getting a very, very solid run. Might have just been an off track there. Webster's gone quicker to put himself back to P1. Sanchez comes across the line, only goes 18th quickest.
Yeah, he goes to the top by about 0.2 of a second. Cooper Webster does. Simon Nicholson about to finish his second lap. See if he can improve at all as he comes rushing up to the line. Another Audi in the field. Sees he comes to the line. Doesn't look like he's improved. He does. He goes up to P10 with a 21.4. So a very nice improvement from 15th.
Very solid improvement indeed. But David Perez coming through the final sector now. We'll see what he can do. Currently hasn't set a representative time at all, if any time at all, currently, and he's on his first flying lap. So again, another shot after this one coming through the final corner now, and is looking like it might be a reasonable lap here. We'll have to see what the lap time is as he comes up towards the start-finish line, crosses the line, and the lap time's going to be a 1 minute 20.652. Puts himself in a P3, so very solid lap by the McLaren driver there. But Moreno back to on his lap, and Vlasic as well out there giving it a red hot go, coming through the corkscrew now in that very, very bright orange McLaren. And Erwin Valstra unfortunately finding himself in the tyre bale, so that's going to be his run over, unfortunately. David Perez, though, what is he going to be able to do? Currently P3 in the order. He hasn't got long left in the session to get this final lap done, but he's going to have enough time to get across the line at least, and coming through the middle sector of the circuit. And like, it's been a very, very clean lap and a very, very solid one as well. So I expect an improvement out of this one, dropping 2 wheels in the dirt. So shows how hard he's pushing all the way through this lap, using all the track he possibly can, including some extra, coming up to the corkscrew and using all the road again. Very, very solid, and it's looking like it's going to be a very good lap here.
Yeah, it's looking fantastic so far. Absolute commitment. The one thing to remember, even though there's not much track surface, it's very easy to get off tracks around here if you just run that little bit too wide. So here's maximum commitment. Comes up to the final turn. He's used every bit of track he could use to get here. It looks good on the screen, but it doesn't matter what it looks like. It all depends on how it looks on track. Gets to the line, and it looks like that is... no improvement. No, he was 0.2 slower that time round, so it looked fantastic, but unfortunately did not represent it.
Unfortunately, not able to go any quicker than third currently, but that's pretty much going to be qualifying run. Still a few out there trying to get some extra practice in, but no one else on flying laps, so probably a perfect opportunity to go through the grid.
Absolutely perfect chance. We've got one car on track, but yeah, not going to have their lap times counted. So we'll bring the results up as soon as we can. And there they are on screen. Cooper Webster will take pole position in the BMW M4 GT3 with the McLaren of Julian Rodriguez Moreno in second. David P. Perez in third with Patrick Klug in fourth in the Lamborghini Huracan. Fifth with Dennis Cartrick and sixth with Calix Poon. Josh Perwin coming in seventh in the Audi R8. Marcin Pulmer in eighth. Paul Mansell, well-known member within the community, in the Ferrari 488 in ninth place, with Bruno Rosendo in 10th.
And getting over the page to Simon Nicholson in 11th, and followed by Sam Devantier on row number 6. Row 7 is going to be Marcin Gadzinski and Mario Vlasic. Luke Turner just behind, followed by Tommy DeVeld, and then you have Bram van der Ham, Fabio Lotti, Louise Critchet, and Maverick Benson rounding out the top 20.
And then rounding out the grid, Chuyu Pok in 21st place, Kiri Zankali in 22nd, Matt Morris in 23rd, Javi Sanchez in 24th. Mitch McLeod doesn't look like he had a lap counter in that one. He's going to line up in 25th, so be one to watch coming through the field. And Owen Woodstra, unfortunately not able to get a lap done either, will start from the rear of the grid. So as we get ready, cars lining up on the grid. Going to be a full lap warm-up for this one, so everyone's going to have plenty of time to get themselves settled in. Obviously, good clouds over the track. Perfect time to bring up the track conditions. We're looking at a mostly cloudy sky. 20 degrees in the air, but the track is up to 22 degrees, so it's going to make it nice and cool for these drivers. Can you obviously use the maximum out of these tyres? Wind speed, bit of wind carrying at the moment, and we are estimating to get 30 laps into this one. But remember, they need to stop for fuel. They cannot get to the end without taking some fuel on board. So that's going to be probably the talking point once again for this race, is getting that strategy right. Obviously, being in traffic, being such a tight circuit, very hard to pass. There's only very few passing opportunities. Turn 1 seems to be the ideal spot to make a passing move done, but it's also very easy to defend. If you can take an opportunity out of someone else's mistake, you could probably get a pass done. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of spots to pass from as they roll across the line. Cam, what can we expect for tonight?
Well, I mean, I think you'd agree. Anywhere's a passing spot so long as you can get it pulled up. But nevertheless, like you said, there's very, very few opportunities to pass around here, and really is going to make it very, very difficult for people who are starting down the back, like Mitch McLeod and Sanchez and a few others who should be a little bit higher up the order, but unfortunately they're going to be fighting their way through, and it really is going to make pit stop strategy for those sort of drivers that much more important, especially some of those at the front of the field who might be getting held up a little bit. So I expect a few people to try and undercut, some of them to try and overcut maybe, but we'll have to wait and see what the preferred strategy is going to be and who's going to end up winning out in that department, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's quite interesting for me, just looking at the front row. I did not expect this front row, BMW, McLaren. I just kind of always, in previous years, we'd always expect this to be sort of an Audi Mercedes track, but obviously with this recent season, the BOP has obviously changed things up a bit. But it's surprising how well the McLaren seems to just suit itself no matter where we go. It just seems to have the edge across the other makes. So speaking of Mercedes, up into 5th at the moment, so fantastic to see that. We haven't really seen a lot of the Mercedes this season, so for Dennis Gatterick as going to be in the Mercedes, fantastic to see that car up there in this one. Got a Ferrari as well, not too far behind. So yeah, Laguna Seca giving us a very different look at the grid as we come through the corkscrew. Any last words before we get this one under green, Cam?
Possibly expect carnage, possibly expect some interesting moves, and possibly expect some exciting racing, hopefully. But certainly going to be heading into turn 1 with a lot of steam are a lot of these drivers, and hopefully we don't have any carnage on the way down to turn 1 or even across the start-finish line as it gets very, very tight with walls eyes to the side of you.
Yep, that's it. And we can see the safety car making a very interesting pit lane entry, but as they come onto the front straight, Cooper Webster will lead the field, and there he goes. He is away We'll wait for the flag to go green, and there we are. Fantastic start from Cooper. Julian will slot into second. David Perez will be under attack from Patrick Klug, but as they head into turn one, a very big dive by Josh Perwin. He's going to take advantage of that start. He's going to move up into fourth, but it's a very tight run through the first turn. Everyone funneling through very nicely. Everyone giving plenty of room. Fantastic run for turn one, but it's not over yet as we head through turn two, heading up towards the corkscrew. Everyone jostling, trying to sort them out for positions, but so far Cooper Webster has had a screamer of a start. Few positions looking up for grabs. Simon J. Nicholson looking at an opportunity on Paul Mansell, but Paul covers very well. Now they begin the run up the hill, and looks like Marcin Palmer having another look. He's going to go side by side. And they've both gone off. Very opportunistic move to do so early on in the piece. Looks like they're both going to get back on track, but that is a lot of time. We've got another car around as well, so that is just an unfortunate way to start this race. Just maybe not the time to make that move, and there's another car spun at the corkscrew, so this race started so well for everyone, but unfortunately they haven't quite finished the lap off.
Yeah, they certainly haven't, especially for the likes of Marcin Pamela, who hasn't had a really great start, or ended up in the wall at the kink, and then obviously having that spin at the corkscrew, like you said. So not been the greatest start from actually a little bit of contact at the corkscrew as well, with Chu Yi Pok as well. So not been the most ideal start for him, and he won't be too happy with that. But it's been a very, very solid start at the front of the field for Cooper Webster, who's just checked out absolutely massively from Julian Rodriguez Moreno and everybody else, really.
Yeah, it's just absolutely propped that gap out. So Perez still in third at the moment. Perwin hot on the tail at the moment, trying to hang on to this group. You can see on screen Simon Nicholson. We could see him early on making some moves, trying to get himself up through the field. Currently sitting in P8, up 3 spots, so he's had a fantastic start. Here's this little battle group just outside the top 10. So the pace that's so far coming from Bruno in the McLaren, doing well so far. You can see a good mix of cars. There seems to be a lot of McLarens in this pack here at the moment, heading up over the hill, up to the corkscrew. Very difficult part of the circuit to get right. You're completely blind as you come over the crest, so you've got to rely on sort of best feeling on when to turn in. Same with this corner here, same thing. It's just very, very cambered, not a lot able to see what's going on. See a few moves happening on the track at the moment. Maverick Benson is all over Fabio Lotti. Down the pack a bit, Fabio. He usually sort of runs a bit further up, but he's managed to fend off that attack so far. But that's also created opportunity for Sam Devontier, who's actually down in 17th. He's actually fallen well down the pack in this one. Must have had a bit of an issue at the start, but it looks like he's going to pick up another spot in the, I believe he is running the Mercedes. So another one to opt for the Mercedes around this track, which, sort of haven't really seen a lot of strengths from this car this season, but up another spot. We'll see if he can keep this momentum going.
Yeah, certainly will, and has obviously lost a few positions, and there's a little bit of an issue going on the exit, and that's a huge impact for Gazinski. Unfortunately, Gataris not being the innocent party, really, as he was trying to find his way on by, but the rejoin not in his favour at all there.
Oh, that's just gone from bad to worse for Gataris. He did a fantastic job in qualifying. We'll see if we can get a quick look. We've got the replay up on screen at the moment. We'll see what's happened here. It started here with the McLaren. He's had a little bit, see what's going on, just a bit wide, couldn't control it. There it is, the rear goes. Everyone's done an amazing job so far to avoid it, but then, oh no, that was silly. Nowhere to go. Not much more you can really say about that one. Poor Dennis just had nowhere to go in that one, and just can't avoid that one, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, that'll probably be race over for him, with plenty of damage to a very, very extended amount, with the fact that it was a massive impact and even getting airborne as a result of the impact. But at the front of the field, though, Rodriguez Moreno doing all right at the moment in P2, just holding off what looks to be his teammate in P3, just behind. He was 3 tenths quicker last time by compared to Perez as well. But Perwin's actually a little bit quicker than what Perez was doing. It's about 2 tenths quicker that last time by. So Pruin really starting to apply the pressure and looking to try and make a move on Perez as well on the way up towards the corkscrew, but thinks better of it for the time being, going to possibly do a little bit of fuel saving as a result. But he is certainly making Perez work for this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, his pace from Josh has just come on. He had a fantastic start. Take a couple of spots out of that one. Oh, you can see the car coming back onto the track very slowly with a lot of front end damage to that one. We'll see. Oh, excuse me. We'll see if we can get a look at what happened with that one. But that is some very extensive front damage. That is not going to be a fun car to drive at this point. Have a quick look at the replay and see what's going on here. Out wide eyes, Mitch McLeod involved in it as well. Erwin straight into the wall. This has just not been the night for him qualifying. The car was just not happy in qualifying, and in the race it's the same. So yeah, Mitch was also out wide there, which is very interesting. That one right on board real quick. Mitch has just run wide. Erwin's gone with him, but just maybe just a little bit too eager to try and get back onto the tracks. Just lost the rear, and yeah, unfortunately straight into the wall.
Well, the problem there was Mitch was doing a bit of apex hunting and clearly didn't end up hunting too well for it by missing the shot completely and ending up missing the apex and running wide. But certainly unfortunate for Erwin there to have to check up a little bit to try and avoid running into the back of Mitch. And as a result, that was very, very heavy damage and barely missed the tyre wall as well. And unfortunately ended up in the concrete. So that's very, very extensive damage to the front of it. That poor Audi, and he's going to have to get some repairs done and probably going to be race over as well. But this little battle pack going on just outside the top 10 at the moment for a 12th, 13th and 14th. You've got Benson, Lottie and DeVille currently all doing very, very well. And 3 different manufacturers as well. You've got a Ferrari at the back, an Audi in the middle and a Lamborghini in the front.
Yeah, it's all mixed up thanks to this bike. And I've just noticed as well, Simon J. Nicholson's gone around. Was having a fantastic run at the start of this one, but something's happened and he's gone and spun. He's got back on track at the moment, but yeah, very unfortunate. It was a fantastic run for him so far, but this, yes, as you're talking about, this battle pack starting to heat up at the moment. Field's starting to get a bit sort of compressed. You can see Sam Devontier at the back as well. Be looking to get onto this battle pack and try and recover some of those spots. Obviously starting well up the field. Just having a quick look. Oh, he's actually had down 2 spots, so he's done a fairly good job to get back to where he is at the moment. But that pack is looking very hungry. It looks like this one might develop into a fairly decent battle at the moment. Got a quick replay on screen. Just having a look. This is the incident with Simon J. Nicholson. See going over the corkscrew. Everything looks fairly normal, and you can see this looks like where he's going to be gone. Looks fine on the way in, but oh, lost the rear. That's all there. Oh, and a slight touch of the wall, but yeah, unfortunately, just it's rear just did not want to stay in going through that corner.
Yeah, it's certainly done. What's that called again? It's called the classic Audi death spin, isn't it? Where the rear end just doesn't want to cooperate and just says, I'm going, bye, and just checks out, and unfortunately he's ended up in the wall as a result. So unfortunate for Nichols there, as he's actually done all right and was pretty much just inside that top 10, but unfortunately now down the auto, probably not going to have too much damage of that impact with the tyre wall. But Benson really starting to pressure the back of Fabio Lotti now in his Ferrari, and just trying to get to the back of it, and he runs a little bit too deep on the way into turn 3, and that's going to really compromise that gap and open it up, and probably going to bring Sam Devantier into the battle pack even more now. So he really does need to work on trying to minimize the mistakes at the moment if Benson wants to try and get on it by, but certainly don't count out Devantier at all because he's right there or thereabouts.
Yeah, I was just having a good look at his lap times, and yeah, he's pretty much the pace setter in this group. You can see Tommy DeWild, who's a little bit further up in front of him. He's probably the other pace setter at the moment, but yeah, he's definitely looking menacing in this point. He's already proven that he can pass in this Mercedes. As we go over the corkscrew, he is right behind the Ferrari at this point. Maverick is going to be checking that mirror very, very carefully. See, there's the run into the second last corner. So we'll run up to the final turn. Now, it's obviously going to be important to try and get the best run through this corner, try and line himself up, try and go for a passing spot. You can see Fabio Iodi actually also had a bit of an awkward run out of that corner as well. So they come down the front straight. not quite close enough, I don't think. It's not going to be an opportunity, but yeah, this pack just seems, it's getting tighter and tighter. But yeah, as we sort of mentioned a bit earlier, turn one's really your only passing spot, and if they can't quite get close enough there's really not another opportunity to sort of have a real dig.
Yeah, there certainly isn't, and it just makes it that little bit harder to try and find your way up the order if you're down the order, like Tavantia is at the moment in this little pack where you're also equal as well. That it just makes it that much harder. But this stop's going to be not too far away from happening as well, so expect some to dive into the pits early and try an undercut strategy. But on screen at the moment is Luke Turner in the McLaren and getting it hunted down by Tommy DeVille on the way down towards the corkscrew. DeVille trying to get to the back, but not quite able to get close enough to cause any sort of issue. And Turner doing a fantastic job at the moment in that flamethrower, that spitting flames on the exit of that kink, and doing so again at the following corner as it does.
Yep, that's why Bo loves to reflect to it as the flamethrower, because that is all it seems to do. And well, we're not really complaining at this point because it does look magnificent. Just as you're sort of mentioning pit stops, the one thing I did notice is Bram Vanderham has actually already made his stop. Don't know if it's enough to get to the end. It'd be very line ball at this point if you can get to the end on fuel, but it'd be worth keeping an eye on that and seeing what's going on, because he's got plenty of free air at the moment and his pace seems to be fairly decent as well. He's only just come out of the pit, so we'll have to wait and see, but it looks pretty good. So there's our bit of a yardstick to see see how much difference it makes when you have some clean air and you're not stuck in this battle like these guys are at the moment.
Yeah, certainly it makes all that difference, and that is a stopped car. Unfortunately, Louis Crochet going to be in the wall by the looks of it, carrying a little bit of damage on that left rear corner. Not quite sure what's going on there. Looks like he's had a little bit of a tussle with the wall. Great of a virtual racing school replay. Just have a look and see what's happening. Oh, just the classic catching the rear on the edge of the grass and unfortunately being sent straight into the wall and having a spin, so he won't be too happy with that and probably going to be suffering from quite a bit of damage as a result of that incident too.
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, we got another one off as well. Simon Nicholson again. Unfortunately, it's gone from bad to worse for Simon. Get another replay on screen. We'll see what happened there. I'd almost imagine it might be much of the same. And yep, there it is. Just touching the oddly looking grass that looks like sand, which, yes, it's going to be causing issues just as soon as you get a little bit on it as well. And pit stops are starting to happen. Fabio Otti in the lane as well. So few people starting to make it to the lane. So they must think that, yeah, there's actually a chance that they can get to the end on fuel if they pit early. So that clean air, everyone's looking for at the moment. Mario Vlasic on screen at the moment. He'll be crying for some free air at the moment, being stuck behind that Ferrari. So you can see if that flamethrowing McLaren has enough pace to get the job done as they head up to the corkscrew.
Yeah, certainly going to want to get on by that Ferrari of Bruno Rosendo, who's just in front of him, getting held up a little bit by the looks, but does appear to be 2 tenths quicker that last time by as well. So certainly quite a bit of pace in that McLaren currently. The evening will want to try and find a way on by as quickly as possible so he can catch up to Paul Mansell. But whether he decides to dive down onto the lane this time by, we'll have to keep an eye on, and he's going to stay out for another lap, and so does Rosendo and Mansell. So those three deciding to not come down onto the lane just yet, and Vlasic getting very, very sideways on the exit of the final corner as well. Yeah,
that McLaren wants to put its foot down. It wants to go. Well, need to make sure the tyres actually can go with you too as they run into turn one. Very, very close, hard on the brakes. That thing closing up very, very well, but can't quite get the power down. The gaps goes back out again to head through turn two. Might need to send a message to Apex Hunters on that one as well. Was a bit wide. That's going to compromise him there, but the pace so far, it's really good. You can see the car in front of Bruno. He's trying hard at the moment to try and keep that gap, but Mario's got plenty of pace at the moment. He's caught the inside curve. That is not going to help him either. Mario just needs to settle it down a bit, buddy. You definitely got the pace, but if you're making little mistakes like that, it's just going to make it infinitely harder for you to pass as they head up to the corkscrew. He was very good last time round. He closes right up, flames spinning out the back of that McLaren. He's trying to try and get a little bit closer this time by, but yeah, he's just got to tidy up those mistakes, just tidy up those lines, because at the moment this is just making the job a little bit harder for him.
Yeah, certainly is. And clipping the inside curb again through the second to last corner, and really does need to tidy up these laps quite a bit, especially if he doesn't want to make a mistake that ends up costing him dearly. But going to get a virtual racing school replay in the corner, picture in picture of what's going on further back. Oh, that's a big curb strike with the sausage curb on the inside, managing to just hold on to, and Sanchez just managing to hold on to that. That's probably going to have resulted in some front bumper damage, if not possible diffuser or floor damage. So you have to be careful of that, and probably going to have some repairs in the pit stop as a result.
Yeah, gotta love that picture-in-picture replay. Jay was very happy with himself today when he was showing that off. So got to give him a plug for his hard work behind the cameras. So as we follow on this battle at the moment, Mario still behind, still hunting for a way past. He's just definitely got the pace at the moment, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of opportunities that are presenting itself at the moment. This is a much better lap for him so far. He's tidied it up a little bit more. He's a little bit closer than before, but just no real opportunities to go for a look as they come into the corkscrew once again, right up behind the Ferrari. I think he's just got to focus on just trying to stay as close as he can. That narrow line, not convinced on that narrow line. I think that's costing him a little bit of time. You can see the gap push out again from the Ferrari, and this is what the Ferrari wants. He wants to have the gap as they come to the final turn, because if Mario's not close enough, turn one does not become an opportunity to pass. So at the moment, you can see Bruno is doing just enough to keep this keep the McLaren at bay as they head up into turn one. Hard on the brakes. You can see they're actually starting to close up a bit too by the looks of it on Paul Mansell too. The Ferrari just in front of them. So this might develop into a little bit of a three-car battle at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly could very well form up into a three-car battle in the not-too-distant future, but still going to have to keep an eye on those pit stops as well, because they're all going to start to cause a little bit of a headache for some of those drivers that still haven't pitted yet and are getting held up in traffic as well. So it really is interesting to see is that a lot of people are still staying out at this point in time, especially with the fact that we're already halfway through. Vlasic's running wide again, dropping two wheels into the dirt on the exit of the kink, and that's cost him dearly as a result. Nearly ended up in the wall if he was unlucky enough, but really is starting to come under pressure a little bit possibly.
Yeah, maybe starting to think, I'm not enjoying being behind this Ferrari at the moment. Like, I just want a bit of clean air. So I guess, do you start weighing up? If he's struggling, you can see him running wide again. He's pushing this McLaren as hard as he can. You know, you got to sort of think, well, you know, cars are already pitting anyway. There's a chance that you could get to the end. We're definitely within that window to be able to make that pit stop. Only 22 minutes left in this race, so there's definitely space in the tank to get to the end. You know, if he's being held up, why not take the opportunity, get to pit lane and, you know, get yourself some clean air and try and jump these guys, because the pace is definitely in this car. It's clearly showing it at the moment, but trying to get close enough to make the pass is just causing him to make those tiny little mistakes.
There is one other thought that could be adding to the madness, and that is that he's possibly fuel saving as well, just sitting in behind, getting a little bit of draft and lifting just ever so slightly earlier than what he typically would be. So we'll have to see what happens in the pit stop and whether he actually does end up jumping Rosendo in the end, but certainly is making Rosendo is certainly making Vlasic work for it very, very hard. And they're actually starting to catch up with Paul Mansell at the moment, who's running a little bit slower than what these guys 21.7 and a 21.8 for Rosendo and Vlasic. But Mansell's running at 22 flats, so Mansell possibly struggling at the moment, maybe with a little bit of damage, not quite sure, but isn't matching the pace of those behind him, and as a result, they're closing in rapidly.
Yep, starting to tighten up, but you mentioned lap times. I did just notice Bram van der Ham punched in his personal best lap time last time round, so we were keeping an eye on him because we want to see if this long run is going to be helpful. This clean air is going to be what he needs, and so far it seems to be working. So if he can keep chipping away the way he is at the moment, he's only about sort of 12 seconds behind Simon, who still hasn't pitted yet, so he's still got quite a bit of clean air, but I guess the question is, like, you know, he pitted very early. Will he have the fuel in the tank to get to the end? That's probably going to be the other question. And, oh, And unfortunately, that's brought that show to an end. He's just clipped the curb as they come out of the corner and only just gently grazed the wall. But all that hard work he's put in, that's all just gone to waste now.
Yeah, it's certainly gone down the plug hole, unfortunately, and he's not going to be too pleased with himself, and that's going to really, really hurt his chances of possibly having a good finish here with the pace that he had. Unfortunately, seems to be keep going, so it doesn't look like it's going to have any damage on that McLaren, but certainly this battle's still raging on between Vlasic and Rosendo. There's absolutely nothing in it between them. Vlasic ever so slightly quicker, not even a tenth in it between them, but Turner's actually starting to catch up rather quickly at the moment. He did a 21.8 last time by, so Turner's got some very, very good pace in that McLaren at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like all the McLarens just have pace around this track, which is kind of messing with my head. I don't know, I can't seem to get my mind around the fact that the McLarens are so good around this track. You can see the Lambo here in the background of Tommy DeWild, who's also been setting some really good pace. He was sort of in the front of that battle pack that we were sort of looking at earlier. So, you know, the pace is definitely starting to come on in this one. Maverick in the background as well. Seems to be closing up in this one. We sort of noticed a bit earlier he was in a little bit of a battle, but he seems to be closing up on this one as well. But a few little battles forming through the field as we start to get longer into this race. So there's not a lot of break around this track either. You know, some of the tracks we've sort of visited, obviously last week at Imola, you got a massive long front straight that you can have a really good breather. But around tracks like Laguna Seca, there's not a whole lot of time to breathe. You know, by the time you sort of get out of the final corner and run down to turn one, just when you sort of feel like you're about ready to go again, you're about ready to go into turn one. So, yeah, and you can see another car, Sanchez, coming out of the pits at the moment. So pit stops are starting to come alive. But what will we see from this pack? Will there be a move to the pits? This battle is still raging on. Who's going to blink first for the lane cam?
Yeah, certainly is going to be a little bit of a poker stakes going on as to who do you guess as to who's going to come down to the lane first, because it really is going to be a matter of who's going to do it. And Vlasic up the inside finally on Rosendo, but Rosendo is going to just let that one go in the end. He tried to challenge it on the way in the braking zone, but just decided to let him on by and follow him through, as that was extremely close to ending in tears there.
Oh, he did a fantastic job to get the move done, then almost threw it away. So yeah, finally getting the job done. Kind of I feel like maybe Bruno, just sort of gave up the fight in that one, said, look, there's no point holding this one up anymore. And Mario's taking advantage of this one beautifully. He's already skipping away comfortably. It's going to mean behind Luke Turner's going to be the next one in the charge. And as we've just said, his pace has been good. You can see that train is actually starting to really form behind Bruno. So maybe this is an opportunity Bruno needs. You know, get to the lane, put the fuel in, give the tyres a chance to cool off and reset himself, because in the next few laps he's going to find himself under a lot of pressure from the cars behind.
Yes, certainly is going to be finding himself under a lot of pressure from the likes of Luke Turner and co, who are not too far behind him at the moment. And at the moment, everybody staying out for another lap by the looks of it. Nobody diving to the lane this time by. So still everybody trying to go as long as they possibly can. No real takers to try an undercut strategy at this point anyway. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see who's going to end up blinking first. But certainly it's starting to get to the point where you actually are going to just come down onto the lane, because you're going to start to run a giggle juice.
Stop it. Some of the things you say, Cam, they make me laugh. But yeah, pit stops will be happening soon. Cody, reset, I'll try that again. Cooper Webster, though, comfortable gap out front. He's actually got that gap out to about 4 seconds at the moment. Mitch McLeod into the lane. So the pit stops are starting to happen. You can see Cooper starting to find some traffic. Here's Brad Vanderham. Going to be confused with the paint job. So Bram would obviously wanted to be getting out of the way for this one. Don't want to hold Cooper up too much, but lights flashing as they head the front straight. So it'll be interesting to see when Cooper makes the run for the lane. So at the moment, you might as well just keep going. He's got relatively clean air. He's got a fantastic gap to the guys behind. So, you know, no need to really pit early at this point. Just keep going for as long as you can.
Yeah, certainly, and especially when you're out the front of the field, like Webster is at the moment, no real need to pit at this point when you've got no pressure behind and can just afford to just keep on going. But McLeod's come out just behind Vanderham as well, which is a little bit interesting. So has not really made any gains in that earlier pit stop. Still seems to have helped Vanderham in the end, despite the issues that he ran into earlier in the race.
Yeah, it is quite interesting, that one. Mitch was up to 9th place before the stop, so, and yeah, Vanderham's still out in front, so can't help but think how much of a gap did he actually build himself up before that little incident. So won't know, unfortunately. We can try and guess, but yeah, unfortunately that little spin that he had just sort of put that one to rest. But this battle, you can see that gap starting to move out a little bit. Luke Turner is starting to get close, starting to look at applying the pressure to Bruno. You can see the pit window looming over everyone. So what's the decision going to be if Luke is able to get close enough to get on the back? Sort of, yeah, they've actually just sort of noticing Bruno's last couple of lap times, he's actually sort of been able to hold on to the back of Mario. So maybe it was a bit of a strategy play there. We did sort of say it looked a bit easy to get through. Mario goes onto the grass again. He was pushing hard behind, he's still pushing hard in front. So maybe this was a little bit of a strategy ploy from Bruno. Maybe get Mario in front and maybe, yeah, do a bit of fuel saving behind here.
Yeah, very much could be the case indeed, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Davantier coming down onto the lane as well. So more takers to the lane currently. And pit lane starting to light up with about 13 and a bit minutes to go.
Oh, that just does not look good at all. You don't want to be that far off the racetrack at that higher speed. So fantastic job to keep a hold of that one. He's definitely, if he was a cat, I reckon he'd used a fair few of his 9 lives at the moment. I don't think he's got a whole lot left. So pit stop activity is starting to occur. Sam Davantier into the lane as well. So looks like the front runners, the mid pack is starting to jump a little bit. You can see, just having a quick look through the field at the moment, Sam Davantier will be looking like he will be the front runner out of that pack. Just seeing where Graham is going to come out. Just trying to get a bit of a reference, see what's going on. Actually, I think he's going to fall. Sorry, just trying to catch where Sam is at the moment. See if he's still stopped at the moment. So, yeah, very, very long time, 50-second stop. Yeah, that looks like that might actually have been a speeding and pit lane penalty. So, yeah, not good at all. A minute 12 total travel time. Paul Mansell in the lane. So it seems like Laguna Seca is catching everyone out at every which way by the looks of it.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it wouldn't have been a speeding and pit lane penalty. It would have been an unsafe entry because he had a spin on the way into pit lane. Did it all on his own, unfortunately. So his own doing it there, and he's not going to be too pleased with himself, unfortunately. Just caught the dirt on the exit of the second last corner and went for a little bit of a half spin. Luckily didn't take anyone with him, but certainly going to have lost a lot of time as a result of that penalty.
Yeah, just noticing too, second place pitted Julian Rodriguez Moreno, and he's come out in traffic. Cooper Webster on to the lane, so that's it. That's as far as he can push that BMW. He's going to need to fill himself up to get to the end, but yeah, you can see Julian Rodriguez has come out behind Tommy DeWild and Luke Turner, this little battle pack that was forming, so this is not going to be helping at the moment. You wouldn't want to be sitting there considering Cooper Webster has pretty much had clear air this entire time. We're interesting to see. We'll look at Cooper and see how his stop goes. He's right at the end of the lane, so it's a perfect spot to be. Just wait and see. Looking at Cooper. Cooper's dropped and is away. Already clear of the pit exit cones. So that is looks like that is a lot of time that's going to be lost there. Cooper's going to come out with a fairly sizable chunk. He's going to come out actually behind Sam Davantier, who's already sort of pitted. So back in clean air, and Julian's exiting turn 1. So the gap stays fairly wide. Cooper has done a fantastic job so far. Now just to get to the end, and it looks like someone's missed their pit lane by a fair margin. That is a big reverse to get back to your pit lane.
That's going to be a DQ.
Oh, oh, wow. I can't quite believe we've just witnessed that one. That's a big reverse effort. But yeah, I've got a feeling you're right there. I think that will be a DQ. Obviously, the iRacing stewards will not be too happy about that one. Definitely a bit of a safety issue. So No, back out on track. Okay, maybe the officials are feeling a bit lenient today because, yeah, that usually should be a DQ at that point.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's managed to go that far back and not get a DQ because that was incredible as McLeod's looking to the outside of Van der Ham, but not going to be able to get a move done this lap at least. But he's looming in the background, going to be filling those moves is McLeod, and he's very much looking like he's got an edge over Van der Ham in some respects, but unfortunately not going to be close enough to make a move on this lap for the time being.
Yeah,
that's wide too.
Oh, Mitch. Maybe he needs to start doing a bit more practice before he comes to these races. But anyway, pit stops still happening at the moment. Looks like the few still remaining on track. Mario Vlasic at the moment seems running in second. Anyone not to pit as yet? We've got a few more. Simon Nicholson just entering the lane. Matt Morris is the only other one that has yet to pit. So Josh Perwin there, you can see on screen at the moment. Luke Turner exiting the lane as well. Looks like he's actually going to get the jump on Paul Mansell to come out of the lane. Absolutely. Luke Turner's made a massive gain out of that pit stop. Just go have a quick look. That's travel time, 29 seconds. Very short stop. He was about 3 seconds faster than Paul Mansell's stop earlier, and Paul Mansell's stop was very quick. So Luke Turner must be taking some tips from Hobbo's effort last night and really done well to save some fuel.
Yeah, he certainly has. It was pretty much just over a second quicker than the two McLarens at the front of the field with Rodriguez, Moreno, and Perez. So, going to be possibly tight on fuel, maybe, or maybe has saved more than enough fuel. So we'll have to see what happens. But he certainly won't want to put himself at a disadvantage if he has taken too little fuel. Vlasic in the lane and in his box as well. So we'll see where he comes out in relation to Luke Turner. He's away now, so Vlasic just getting away, and Luke Turner's just coming through the final corner. This is going to be very, very close. I'd say Vlasic is going to get this one off Luke Turner, but it's going to be very, very close, and I'd have to say that's probably going to be Vlasic gaining all of those positions.
Yeah, massive game from Mario, staying out those few extra laps. Yep, Academic at that point, he gets the jump, and he gets a massive gap to that one. So Mario, fantastic job in those pit stops. Bruno seems to be one of the big losers in that one. He's dropped a few out of it. Paul Mansell as well, losing a few spots. So yeah, just sort of giving we've got a replay coming up in a second. We're looking at Mitch McLeod in the final turn. VRS replay. Have a quick look to see what's going on here. Looking at Mitch McLeod. Tap on the brake pedal, Oh, no. Now, Mitch, letting it roll backwards, flick it around, keep it in. Beautifully done. Well, wasn't a fantastic move, but the recovery was quite entertaining. So thank you, Mitch, for that one. Make sure to check out his stream if you want to have a good giggle. But as we go back to the action at the moment, so 6 minutes, just over 6.5 minutes left in this race. So it's starting to wind down now. Few battle packs left to going. As you can see, Van der Ham and Simon Nicholson. Looks like this battle is going to be on towards the end. No more pit stops to work out a strategy from. It's just going to have to be the post stamps are going to have to come out, and a few sends are going to have to happen to get jobs done now towards the end of the race.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're going to have to get their elbows out and everything, and Nichols trying to find a way on by, had a look, but didn't quite manage to get it done, did Nicholson. He's going to look to the outside again, gets very close on the brakes, but again, not close enough and not quite enough room to get the move done on Van der Ham. They've also got Lottie and Jolly just up the road, but both lap cars, so possibly going to see a little bit of drama involving some lap traffic going on between these two as well if they're not careful. But Van Ham still doing enough for the time being to hold off the Audi of Simon, and he's just got enough of a run off the exit of the Andretti hairpin as well as Van Ham to keep that position. That Audi looking very, very strong at the moment, and looking like it could size up a move on Van Ham at some point.
Oh, geez, that looks fantastic from the rear view, seeing those flames. But our producer Jay, doing the calculations in the background, reckons that Van der Ham might actually be 2 laps short on fuel. And, well, if the pace is dropping off at the moment, there's a bit of a tap. Oh, he's put him wide.
Oh,
That's
Nielsen!
not... Oh, just held on to it. That is mental. He's back on track, but there's definitely a fair bit of damage to the back of that car. We'll get a replay in a second, but that is just massively unfortunate. That was looking like a fantastic battle for me.
Yeah, it certainly was looking like it was going to be a fantastic battle to the end, and just the slightest bit of contact as well. I'm not quite sure if Nicholson didn't expect him to brake as early as he did, but certainly forced Van Ham wide, and then Nicholson almost lost it on the exit of the corner as himself, so very, very close to ending in disaster for both cars, but then they both come away with at least a car that's going in the right direction. You can just see a little bit of a bump, unfortunately. It didn't look like he just missed his brake marker ever so slightly, but that was a very, very scary moment and a very, very close one too.
Very close. You saw on replay the opposite lock had to put in to save himself, but the in-game chat has been going and is still going between the two, so I would imagine that neither party is too happy at the moment, but yeah, well, fortunate to see that happen, but you can see out front, last 4 minutes in this race, Cooper Webster doing a fantastic job so far. He's well out in front. Got a solid 7.5 second lead. So that pit stop worked out beautifully for him. He's managed to obviously make the gains. Julian obviously stuck in traffic after his pit stop. So not sure if that played into it as much, but we can see Cooper sideways. Don't do that, buddy. No way. You've got this one. You've got one hand on the trophy, mate. Don't be doing that one just so soon.
It was very, very close and very much could have been an awkward situation with leading with such a massive margin and having it all go pear-shaped in the last 3 minutes of this race. That would have not been too pleasant for him, that's for sure, but he's at least kept it on the road for the time being, and I think he'll be a little bit more conservative to finish this race off. We'll grab a virtual racing school replay and have a look at see what happens. Came through the kink, just dropped 2 wheels into the dirt, and you can see how rapid the arm movement was to catch that slide. Very, very lucky in the end, and could have easily ended up in the concrete wall on the inside, but luckily with that car control he managed to hold on to it very, very nicely.
I was going to say, he makes it look like he did that on purpose, just how he just caught it so casually on the dirt. But that's why he's as good as what he is. He's just got such good car control in those sort of situations. But Luke Turner in the lane. Looks like the short fill has happened there. Just did not quite have enough to get to the end. We're only looking at about 3 laps to go. So quite short on fuel. Not sure what's going on there. But unfortunately, that was a fantastic result. That was looking to that was going to be for Luke. So, but we've got a little battle pack hold forming here. Mitch McLeod and Matt Morris. Matt's been very, very quiet in this one. Haven't seen a whole lot of him, but he's been comfortably making his way through the field, and now he's going to be all over the back of Mitch McLeod. I can only imagine the battle that we're going to see towards the end of this one. As they come to the line, they'll have 3 to go. Matt is all over the back. He's close enough for a look. Matt will definitely be wanting to have a look here as they head into turn 1. He's looking down the inside. He's late, but I don't think he's going to be there. But they'll get side by side, and there's contact again. And it looks like Mitch is around big time. Oh, I'll have to try and get a replay of that one. And we've got another car off too. Vanderham actually has well. Brad Vanderham has gone to Nicholson gone to in the background. What is going on? Has someone dropped some oil on the track, because there are cars going left, right, and center? Mitch back on track at the moment, got going, but I have to get a replay on that one. What's going on here?
Don't tell me it's a synchronized spin. You can't tell. It actually is. It's pretty much a synchronized spin for both Nichols and Vanderham. They've done the exact same thing. Vanderham caught the grass, though, and ended up spinning, and Nichols more or less just spun it on his own. So not so ideal there, and Nichols actually ended up hitting the wall. So unfortunate there, and managing it all happened in front of the leaders as well. So very lucky that no one ended up getting hurt or harmed in that incident, but certainly could have gone very much worse for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see that little bit of contact between Matt and Mitch. Not sure. Couldn't get a good enough view on that one to make a definite call, but yeah, you could see Mitch ran wide in sort of the middle of the corner, and that obviously invited Matt down the inside, but yeah, 2 weeks in a row, Mitch has been at the receiving end of contact, so if he wasn't too happy last week, I don't think he's going to be very happy this week either. We've only got a few laps to go. We're actually on to the final lap, and this battle is going on. Mitch trying to get through the field. It's actually with lap traffic, actually. Yeah, Julian in second, and Mitch is defending. So, obviously, Mitch trying to go after Bram for that P16 spot, but not sure how Julian's going to be feeling about that one.
You're probably not going to be pleased with Mitch as Mitch runs wide into the dirt there, and he's going to defend on the way up towards the kink as well. Flash of the headlights from Julian, clearly not very, very happy with the fact that Mitch, who is a lap down now, is going to be holding him up, but certainly not really going to be able to do much more damage. Is Julian to that lead of Cooper Webster's, who's coming through the final few corners now to come home with the victory.
Absolutely. Breaking into the last corner onto the front straight. It's been a superb drive, a beautiful pole lap. He's controlled the race from the start. Fantastic pit stop. Will take the checkered flag and take victory. Mitch, we can see in the background with a last-minute dive. He's going to try and get it done, but not happening. That will settle the position as they run to the line. 16th and 17th, Mitch not able to get the job done. Second will be Julian Rodriguez Moreno. A fantastic drive. David Perez will come in third, and we can see a few battles finishing up. Bruno Rosendo and Tommy DeWild finishing this one off. Bruno entered his race, fantastic effort. He's managed to pick up a few spots thanks to a few late race incidents, but the old staying out of trouble, getting to the ends worked out well. Mario Vlasic, fantastic drive for him tonight. Pulled that McLaren all the way through the field to get inside the top 10. Got a few positions still yet to sort themselves out. There's a big dive and there's contact. That was a very late dive from Fabio. He's pulled that one up. It looks like he might be readdressed that one. That was a very, very last minute dive. But there's the redress. So good work, Fabio. Obviously realized he made a mistake, and that will get a quick virtual racing school replay on that one. That was never, ever going to work, but it's worked out okay in the end. Fabio obviously realizing he did something wrong and readdressed that position. So in the end, no spots lost for either of them.
Yes, certainly, and very much a corner that opens itself up to a little bit of a sneaky dive bomb there, but unfortunately in the end, Fabio not quite able to get up alongside enough in the end, and unfortunately contact ensued. So very, very good sportsmanship though to redress the position.
Yeah, and that is the race done. Cooper Webster on screen gets the win for this one. As we said, a fantastic drive. Qualified on pole by 3/10. It just didn't look challenged at all the whole way through the race. We'll get the final results up on your screen any second now. We'll finish this one up. And there they are. Cooper Webster, 12-second victory. Julian Rodriguez Moreno in second. David Perez, the teammates closing out the podium. Josh Perwin, fantastic start, but wasn't really able to challenge the podium positions. Comes home in fourth. Patrick Klug in fifth. Galex Pun in sixth. Mario Vlasic, fantastic drive for him tonight, in seventh. Paul Mansell, another quiet achiever, in eighth. Bruno Rosendo in ninth. And Tommy D. Wild rounding out the top 10.
And Maverick Benson comes home in 11th. A very, very good drive from 20th on the grid. Masin Pamula in 12th. And then you can have Luke Turner and Chui Pok to round out the cars. Finishing on the lead lap, Matt Morris comes home in 15th from 23rd on the grid. A very, very solid drive from him. Graham Vanderham in 16th. In the end, Mitchell McLeod nearly had 16th, but wasn't quite able to make it happen. Comes home 17th. 18th to Javier Sanchez. Sam Devantier going to come home in 19th. Rounding out the top 20, Simon Nicholson. And then you can have Jazreen Jali in 21st. 22nd to Fabio Lotti. And then Louis Crutchett, Evan Vodstra, and Marcin Gazinski, followed by Dennis Gatrice rounding out the field.
Yeah, action-packed race tonight. Next time we come to you, we will be at Alton Park. It is a fantastic track, one that features heavily on the British GT calendar, so these cars will be well accustomed to it. The international circuit, so don't forget to tune in next week. That is round 9. And don't forget, through the week, we're not done here at SimSpeed. We've got Aussie Car Skippies at Phoenix Speedway tomorrow night. We've got the ODSE Big Blocks at USA. VRS, obviously, at Alton Park next week for round 9. And Cam, fantastic racing tonight, but what are your thoughts of how it went?
Well, probably went a little bit better than I thought it would be. Unfortunately, the track doesn't really present itself all that well to some great racing, as we saw, where it was a little bit of a low point with everybody being single file before the pit stops, but the pit stops certainly spiced it up. But in the end, it's going to be going to Alton Park next week, free track as well, so going to hopefully increase the participation there a little bit more, and hopefully we get a little bit better racing as well. Similar style and circuit to Laguna Seca, so possibly going to be a little bit of a difficult one to overtake and make qualifying all that much more important. But nevertheless, it's going to be interesting to see what next week holds.
Next week's going to be fantastic. I'm ready for it. I love that track. Definitely one of my personal favourites. But thank you for joining me tonight. That's Cam Dance and the man behind the cameras, as always, J.K. Kennedy. This has been Simon Mazomo. Thank you once again for tuning in for the VRS GT Sprint Series, and we will see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rhythm, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Section's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, here we go. Oh no!
Can't believe this, oh my God!
God, what?